Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here's the recap. I should deafen because someone's probably going to say something, but it's fine. I will make the dragon seamed the top line, so go ahead and pause. Oh, pause. And then I'll go a little bit further up for the last bit. There's your recap, and here we go. And we're off!
And we're off. Everybody took their XP at the last of the last session, right? Yep, it's on there. Cool, cool, cool.
Yep.
Literally, I wrote and I might not be accurate. When are Jean and Mrs. Scaros expected to be back in town, Snaps? West?
Shit.
Oh,
I think you said they were staying a couple more days. I think they're gonna be back like today. Hold
There
on.
tomorrow. The note I wrote is the players will be freaking out since Snap was just disintegrated. Let them do whatever they want. Play it by ear. Know that Jean and Mrs. Scaros will be home tomorrow. They might send one of the boys from the house to go get them sooner. Be prepared for that. That is literally what I wrote. I called it a farm. It's not a farm. It's an orchard at a homestead, but you knew what I meant.
We're going to be staying 2 more nights after day 59, so 60 and 61, and then
so they'll be home day
not
62.
60. I'm sorry, that was recap 59, not day 59. That was, what the hell day was that? That was 56, 57, 58. They should be home already, I guess. Maybe they decided to stay a few more nights. Maybe they'll be home today. They'll be home when the DM
Because
decides.
I wrote down they were going to be home tomorrow. So let's say that they are arriving home today.
Okay. Not that I have anything to do with this. I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay, so did I just hear correctly that John and Mrs. Scaros rolled into town right around the time that a big old kitty paw rolled across the sky and then carried a dragon away?
No, because if they were arriving home today, they would have woke up at the Crooked Crow at whatever time in the morning they wake up.
Okay.
And have to travel home.
Got it. Okay.
Which I think was a 4-hour travel. What's the travel? On travel times. Where are we?
Just under 8 hours or something? Crazy.
7 hours from Have Hollow to Dybrook. So they will be home, let's say they wake up at 8 in the morning, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. They'll be arriving around 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And you guys were awakened at sunrise by the sound of a freight train outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So literally, I wrote, let them do what they want. Okay. So what are you going to do? You are literally standing in the orchard in front of your house, which is a little bit on fire. And there is a deep gnome oozing into the soil.
There is a deep gnome oozing into the soil with Foggy still on top of it, still throwing punches.
Dusk will see the futility of trying to get Foggy to stop, and he'll turn his attention to the rest of his party now that he suddenly feels the burden of responsibility of making sure everyone's okay. Does anyone look severely injured beyond himself? He knows he's hurt pretty bad, but is anyone else particularly hurt?
I'm going to bring up Ostay's character sheet so that I can answer on his behalf. He is at full health. That's right. He came running outside after it was over, after
Right.
the whole big bad happened, and dispatched somebody, didn't he? Made somebody dispatchable.
All right. In that case, so he's gonna cast Aura of Vitality just as a. And he's for the next minute, so that's 10 rounds. That's I can use a bonus action to cause one creature in the aura to regain 2d6. So that's essentially 20 d6s, right? Am I doing my math right? Yeah, 20 d6s.
Yeah,
I can
20
dole out of
d6
healing
is dispensed 2 at a time.
in pairs. Yeah. So I'll start with whoever's the most hurt other than himself. And I'm snap. Yes, thank you. How Foggy? How are you looking here? How badly wounded do you look? I'm trying to find your character sheets. Struggling. Maev, how does Maev look? Bueller?
With the temp HP, I am sitting at 71 of 91, so 20 shy. I could not math that quickly, apparently.
So what I'll do is I'll hit you with the 2d6 heals.
She's probably still just kind of 1,000 yards staring in the direction of Foggy and the smear and on a knee.
Okay. Do you want to roll the 2d6 or do you want me to?
Oh, I don't know. How does this work?
I guess I roll it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it. You do it.
Okay. Roll the dice. Take 7 healing. I'll do it one more time for you, Maev. 3 healing. So that's 10 total.
Cool.
So you're up to 70.
So with the temp HP now officially 10 shy. And totally fine with that.
And Foggy. Ross is fine.
Yeah, Foggy's character sheet says he's at full health.
He's full health, and that's a big part of why he's this pissed. It's because he didn't get hit once.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I'll hit Maev again then, metaphorically, with a third one, 2d6. 9 points of healing. And let's say one more maybe. 5 points of healing. That's 4. One more for Maev to make it even 5. 3 points of healing. God dang it. Why can't I heal you? I'm not cut out for this, Snaps.
She looks.
All right. One more time to pop you off. Yes, 6. All right, you're fully healed. And I'll do the remaining 4 myself, I guess, if no one else is hurt. That'll be 9.
Maev is now at full health.
3 is 12. Plus 2. 14. Plus, 9. 21. All right, I'll heal myself for 21 total over the course.
Nice.
And I don't know. I still have the the thing up because I think Dusk is still not convinced that the danger's over.
Yeah, I think once you finish dumping healing points into her, she like snaps out of the 1,000-yard stare a little bit and just starts frantically looking around, and she's gonna yell at over to Dusk, and he's a pile of dust. She's gonna yell over to Dusk like, "Do you see him? Is he here still?" She's got like the fiercest grip on her axe, and you can see that the ember flickers that happen in her eyes when she's going into a rage starting to get a little more powerful. She wants the bloods.
Sorry, I got distracted. Do I need to respond to anything you just said?
I kicked on see invisibility,
he
and I'm
does.
looking around and make sure that the coast is clear of invisible bad guys as well.
Cool. Normally I make you roll something for that, or you just automatically get to see invisible things.
If they're invisible, I see them, but it's whether or not. I guess it depends on where they are.
Okay,
They become visible. Then it's a question of whether I would spot it.
got
If it
it.
was like standing in front of me versus behind a tree or
Gotcha. Yeah. Yes. So the invisibility happens, and you aren't seeing anything in particular.
okay. And I'll just tell the coast is clear for now. I'm gonna keep it up. I'm gonna keep scanning. Uh, I don't know what to do. We gotta put out these fires. Rasa, what can we do? There's nothing to be done right now for snaps. We need to make sure the rest of the place doesn't burn down. Breath. That's right, because you can recharge it. Yep.
I don't
Or
think,
you
ignoring the fact that it's not going to be on Foggy's mind, I don't even think he has anything that could help.
I don't know if
I
the
have
mic.
4 uses, so I would do what I needed to do to save the homestead from
So she's.
Or
I don't know
uses
if it
of
came through her breath weapon.
so she's breathing ice on the building.
where there's possible flame and what. Yeah.
Got it. How big is your cone again, or is it a straight line in it?
It is
30-foot line.
30-foot line that's 5 feet wide.
Okay,
So
so you're
even if
hitting
I stand
4 or
on like,
5-foot spots.
well, I don't know if you would allow it to like, I don't know what parts of the house are on fire, but like if I could stand and do a line that way, so that way it kind of hits all of, since it's a 5-foot.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna say that you are able to.
And I get 4 of those spots, 4 of those lines.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you're able to put out any fires on this section of the building,
Okay.
and the fires on this section of the building would still be going, as well as all of the trees. The trees have circles drawn on them. And I'm gonna decide that it's really just this leading corner that's on fire.
You said just really one more corner. That's it.
Yeah, like this area here is really all that's left that's on fire after you're done. And the
Okay,
trees.
give me one.
Trying to decide how fast can the town respond to seeing smoke and flames and big
Um,
roaring cat paws in the sky.
the next thing that would happen then is Rasa whips out a dagger and stabs herself.
Whoa.
Where exactly?
Asking a very somewhere where it's not exactly critical. But she takes a dragonborn dagger out and stabs herself.
Oh, yeah, you could just slice across your palm. That's
Yep.
fine.
Yep. And then would give me, I think it's just one more recharge. So I would get a 5th out of it for 4 of damage.
That's an interesting use. The rechargeability.
So I would take 7 points of damage in order to
A little more.
I'm still full health. Leave me alone.
So you're able to diminish but not put out that bit of fire, and the trees are obviously still in trouble. You also hear clamoring in the. I'm gonna say that the smashing and pulverizing of the gnome, the recovery and healing of Maiev, and the thought process to get you in gear, to get you to putting out flames, is going to take a good 60 seconds or so to get your all your shit in order. And by then, the women of Dracot, who are living in cabins and tents just on the other side of the orchard, will have begun barreling across the fields and through the orchard and toward the well that is in the middle of the orchard and start putting out the fires around the trees. And some of them will be bucket brigading up to the house to put out the rest of that fire. You're going to have a collection of 20 Dracot women of Dracot, whatever we want to call that group of women, sort of pouring over from the field on the other side of the orchard into the area and just immediately being very methodical about bucket brigading, not knowing what caused the fire, just bucket brigading because their job is to protect the town and this homestead is part of the town. There's a fire, we come to put it out, and that's what they're doing. The whole shit show that went by in the sky, they are choosing not to be afraid of it because they are focused on putting out fire. They have literally run into danger from their point of view to help put out fires at the homestead.
Dusk will be hurling praises to Saluda for their help and doing whatever he can to haul up. If he helps hauling the buckets of water up faster, when he sees what's happening, he sees that the area is no longer in any threat of danger. People are healed up as best as they can be. Dusk will
Oh my lord.
join Maiev and try to help with whatever the hard parts are, right? The heavy hard parts.
Hmm. So, for the record, now that there are around 20 additional bodies here helping with the putting out of fire, I decided to roll a keeping my anger in check to see if I could maybe stop doing this for a minute to help Bucket Brigade. I'm going to let you be the judge, Mama. What does a natural 1 mean in this context?
Oh, God.
I think that in the realm of Foggy trying to maintain control over the rage, it's a complete failure. And Kurok, being that which is what happens when you rage, would have to figure out how Kurok would manage in this moment. So give me a minute to roll for him. He beat the 10. So since you two are now possibly sharing control when Kurok asks, he's gonna awoo and try to get some modicum of control over you and try to make a run. and burn off some steam. Because his solution is run hard, run fast, work the muscles.
And I think if it would help, maybe a little mom dart once she's fallen in line with the women of Dracot to Bucket Brigade, seeing that Foggy is still pounding away at the smear on the ground. She would probably start talking into his head and aim it at Kurok.
I can't remember. Do you hear Kurok when you do that? Or
She
you
hears
get his
both of us.
feelings? You get his noises?
Yes.
He hears both
Yeah,
of you.
I get puppy
So-
noises.
So you would have gotten the awoo that you don't know yet, because I don't think you were around for any conversation on the subject.
Correct.
But
I don't believe I was.
the howl that is Kurok's request for helping to control the body, or having a turn at controlling the body, you're not aware that that's what that is. It just sounded like a howl, which could be interpreted as grief and mourning, as much as Foggy is clearly grieving and mourning.
Okay. And while she's talking into his head, I mean, it would broadcast to both of them, but it's because it'll last for a minute as long as I can see him, and he's within a mile of me. It would be along the line. Oh, sorry, no, it lasts for 2 minutes now. It would be along the lines of I don't think the ladies are going to ask any questions, but we might scare them if we continue on this path. Maybe go for a run. Maybe go for a swim. No, wait, I'm the one that can breathe underwater. And other type. I know it's impossible to try to get this under control right now, but time and place. And time, yes, now is the time to feel this, but the place needs to be not where we're going to scare the people that are helping us put out the fires in our house.
Over the course of that, he will have begun to slow down a little. And he'll stand up, cast a glance in your direction, and his eyes are still blue. And then you watch them change to Kurok's eyes, and then he just bolts in a south to southeasterly direction.
Or town?
Yeah, to just go, and then if that happens to be in the direction of town, which I don't think that's what Kurok cares about right now, it's just burn off some steam and get away from the scene of where it's happening.
Yeah.
And if that happens to put me in the direction
Southeast.
of town.
Yeah, no, southeast would avoid town.
Let's go straight
You'd
south.
be heading
then.
into foothills. Okay.
Yeah, let's go straight south, and if he happens to veer southwest-ish, then cool. But he's not caring particularly about precise direction. He's just going.
All right. Oh, Foggy be run.
Yeah,
Loping.
and Maev would give him that knowing nod, and just kind of out loud say "go." Even though she had been talking into his head, she would give him, when she sees the eyes change, she would give him the knowing nod and say "go."
And he books it. If you want to just GM panel my token so that it's not here anymore, you can.
We'll just go like this.
There we go.
It's down in the corner. He's not here.
And I can just
Erase,
kind
erase,
of do
erase.
that whenever I feel like it, so I'm just gonna radio that out to everybody else, piecewise, and because I don't remember if we have whispers up at the moment. I start with Rasa and say he'll be back. He's very mad, and he should be, but here is a bad place for that with all of the fire. Oh, look, a bucket. And then just kind of continue down the line of he'll be back. Everything's fine. It's fine. He's coming back. He's just mad. Oh, bucket.
It looks like she did use Psychic Whisper. She's upstairs with a kiddo. So I forget how many hours, but my guess is it wouldn't be expended yet.
Yeah.
So
I think
she would radio it
just-
out to everybody.
with the chaos of it all, you and Aste are probably both gonna have Rasa and Maiev talking into your heads at the same time with like a high level intelligence relaying of he's going for a run to calm the fuck down for a minute, and Maiev he's gonna be, it's fine, he's just mad, he'll be back. Ooh, bucket. Yeah. At the same time.
Ooh,
with
bucket.
the reverb
Buckets
and
are
all.
good. Fire bad, tree good.
Yes. And then once we get most of the fires out and we're down to like maybe one or two trees left that need to be addressed, Maiev will make her way back to where Snaps fell.
Okay.
Same same with Dusk. When things are under control.
I'm gonna assume Aste will do the same. I also imagine that Aste will be awkwardly quiet. I know that he struggles with the connection amongst you people. Like he doesn't quite understand it. But he's not an idiot, and he knows that something very traumatic is happening to you people, and he's going to be respectful of that, even though it's not in his wheelhouse. Silence is the most he could think of, I think, as respectful.
Yeah. That sounds very professory.
Hey, when you gotta Jaeger somebody, you gotta Jaeger somebody.
Hey, there he is.
Oh, there he be!
You're being the awkward, respectful, supportive, I don't know what you people are so connected to each other for person. Welcome to D&D.
Welcome to the session, my darling. You're muted, by the way.
I know. I was trying not to. I was trying to interrupt because my mic is open instead of keeping it.
In the moment that you arrived, I was just finished Jaegering your character to say that you approach the rest of the group, all crowded around the dust and pile of stuff that is where Snaps used to be. And in your intelligence, recognize that these people are experiencing trauma, even though you personally don't quite understand it. You're just going to give them the respect of silence because there's nothing you could do or say to make any difference in this moment for them.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what I figured. So, everybody, we have put out the fires with the help of the women of Dracot. And the women of Dracot are still putting out the remaining fires out in the orchard. Foggy has had meltdown and rolled a natural one in trying to regain his composure. And so Kurok requested control, and they've gone for a run. And literally just ran out of the area of the homestead to the south-ish direction.
Dusk will kind of, I don't know if Maiev is crouched or standing, but we'll
Yeah, she's taken a knee and she's just kind of muttering in Infernal.
He'll put a hand on Maiev's shoulder and just be like, I tried. I tried to shelter who I could with one of my spells and it didn't work. Sorry.
And you're gonna feel her shoulder like tense under your grip, and she'll like bolt upright to standing full stature and just like grab the sides of your face. The only one to blame is the blurry fuck. We'll figure out how to fix it. That's what we do. And then she'll like crumple back down to on a knee and start like somewhat ceremoniously, and like you can tell she's trying not to break, gathering the smallest items first and laying them in the shield, and trying to gather the items that are left, and she'll start to carry that inside, and she'll go inside and try to find some kind of receptacle, and then she'll come back out and try to pick out as much grass as possible, because there's no logic to any of this, and we're gonna fix it. And she's just muttering, and we're gonna fix it, and I'm gonna kill that fucking guy. And it's bouncing back and forth between common and infernal.
Now
she's muttering and collecting things. And
now, Dusk, though he be a hobo cleric, and not necessarily a formally educated cleric, would Dusk have any inkling as to how, if at all possible, Snaps could be brought back from the death at this point, given the lack of body?
Why don't you give me Arcana?
Arcana? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if you even know what the fuck could cause this to happen.
Not going to be likely, but let's see. Woo, okay, 15. 15. With a -1, a modifier. 16 down to a 15.
I'm going to say, with a 15, you have some awareness that there are magical spells that are way beyond your reach, that often are ascribed to book learning, actually, that can reduce a physical being to dust. And your understanding of resurrection and renewal involves healing a body, and dust is not a body.
Right.
I think with a 15, you're going to have a general grasp on the fact that this is not like there is nothing to revivify.
Right.
There is nothing to restore. And as far as your healing knowledge goes, there is nothing that any of your spells can apply to, because there is nothing here but dust.
So in a very rare flash of intelligence, Dusk realizes what Maev is trying to do is a bit futile, but he's wise enough to know that stopping her is probably a bad, not reading the room really. So Dusk will just sort of agree and right, Maev, you're right. There's always hope. You are right. I can feel it, and I agree. The true perpetrators will pay. We'll make sure of that. So in the meantime, Veiled One, if you're listening, don't give Snaps anything to do. No long-term projects. She might have to put in her notice with a short notice, without much notice. So,
and
in the meantime, take good care.
There's gonna be like a little bit of a spark in Maev's eyes, and she's gonna start talking to the Veiled One. Last time she you did it a bunch of times where she looked like she was dead but she wasn't, and she's still going back and forth between common and infernal, and she's just rambling at the Veiled One of like, you put her back a whole bunch of times before, we saw it freaked us out, we're really freaked out now, put her back. And just rambling like that as she continues to collect things and trying to be both motherly and ceremonial about it. She's gathering all of Snaps' remaining belongings and um, Snaps' remains and getting everything inside to place it lovingly where she thinks it should be.
Does she think it should be?
Um, her shield that is carrying all of the items, with the exception of the bag that Rasa has, is going to be brought at first just into the main room, and the receptacle that's got her remains in it will be placed on the mantle for the moment, and she's then going to carry the belongings to Foggy's room. And she's gonna be muttering as she goes about, and she'll like stop in Foggy's room, and knowing that Foggy is running and she's probably got at least a little bit of time, she'll place the shield on the foot of his bed for the moment, and she'll move the table that he's got in there so that it's, you know, a little more secure in the one corner, and then she'll wander over to her room, and just anything that's on the table in her room just gets dashed to the floor, and she grabs the table out of her room, wanders it over to Foggy's, and puts it next to his, and just starts kind of arranging things between the two tables.
Build a little shrine of her stuff.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I can't remember if Aste did any kind of Arcana check to determine if he knows what options you do and don't have in this moment for that dust that you've collected.
I am unsure, but I can make one if you would like.
Let's go Arcana.
My favorite.
And I think you usually try to apply your book to it.
Do I have Arcana in my book? Hold on one sec.
Oh, shit.
The world primer is history or religion, so no, I can't apply my book to it.
Okay.
But I got a 14 plus 3 plus 8. That's going to be 25.
Yeah. Yeah. Well up high enough that you recognize what disintegrate looks like.
Yeah. It's
You kind of know.
pretty what's the term?
Iconic.
Uniquely identifiable.
Or that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So you do recognize what disintegrate looks like, and with better than a 25, you also know what it takes to reverse it, if it can be reversed.
It technically can. It requires 9th circle magic, but you know, it only requires the most powerful magics that the world has to offer past the weave. So that is, of course.
Yes. Maiev actually got a 21 on her Arcana check, so says the chat.
Yup.
But I don't think Maiev would recognize disintegrate as a spell, because you don't have that much familiarity with actual Arcana.
No, absolutely
But I
not.
think at
I
your
think I wrote
noodle, yeah, you've wrapped your head around with a 21 that this is dust. This isn't a body. Everything that you've ever seen that was healing and restoring from injury or removing a curse. All of those things required there to be a person.
Yeah.
You're seeing dust. And some part of you recognizes that this dust ain't enough in its current form. Whatever magics that you can imagine, this dust ain't gonna be what you need. There's you just don't have enough. You don't have a body to fix.
So you said with my 25, I know pretty much each way to bring them back? Or is that if I got higher than a 25?
I think you did better than a 25, but at a 25, I'm going to give you that you know the details of the spell disintegrate as written.
Gotcha. Okay. Alrighty.
So we
See,
know what Mayev's doing. What are we going to do?
I'll relay it to the others. So I'll tell them. So, from what I know of the different types of magics, this is not something that we can fix even in the near future on our own. This will require someone with higher spell capabilities than I will probably ever have, considering my choices. And while I would have, in any other case, recommended we head to a druid, there is not even a part of the body left for a certain spell I was thinking of. So we need to find a caster whomst has the highest level, the highest circles of either divine or arcane magics in all of the planes. He tries to break it to them with like some form of levity, but it's difficult considering that it's heavy.
Dusk will nod and be like, "Worth Earl." So he's gonna, once Professor's done with his delivery of the facts, Dusk will turn around and cast a sending spell to Worth Earl.
I'm listening. Gregory's
right.
counting.
Okay.
Gregory's counting.
Go for it.
It's dusk. Do you know anyone who can resurrect the dead, even if dust? Please.
10 more
That
words.
please would have a very strained emotion behind it.
Somebody tell me what level one has to be, as a wizard to have access to it.
Was it true resurrection or something?
So for the ninth circle,
Wish.
it's true resurrection or wish.
You need to be at least 17th level.
Both wish and true resurrection are ninth level spells, which is why he said ninth circle.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what level wizard can do a ninth level spell?
17.
17th level.
17. Okie dokie.
Yeah, so 17th level of sorcerer, I
My
think.
characters.
17th level of wizard and 17th level of I want to say cleric or druid.
Yeah,
I don't know
Zephyr's
what
got
class. I don't know what class.
true resurrection.
Say again?
Well, What was that, West?
Yeah, Zephyr's. No, Zephyr's got true resurrection as a druid. So yeah, druids can do it, but they gotta be high level.
So there will be a very long pause before you get an answer. Son, my heart is with you. Whatever loss you are experiencing, but what you ask is not within my grasp.
He has 6 more words.
When Dusk, as he kind of like when you're taking a phone call, you walk away from the group and like put your back to him. And Dusk just goes over to the nearest tree, leans up against it, and hears back this message. And he's just going to let loose this just roar, this howl roar almost, and just punch the tree. And just come back to the group. He says he doesn't know. No one can do that he knows. It's too powerful a spell. Well, we have to do some animal control here.
Mm-hmm.
True resurrection isn't your only option, though. You also have wish,
which is also a 9th level spell.
Oh, it's the same level. Okay,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that we need to find a 17th level or higher wizard, sorcerer, cleric, or druid, I think is the list. Does sorcerer get wish?
I think Sork gets wish.
Let me just make sure. Warlock the genie also gets wish, so that's
Yes.
interesting thing.
Yes, and it's sorcerer wizard, and technically bard because bard can use magical secrets to steal it.
So we have options. I mean,
Yeah.
we just have to find one of the most powerful adventurers that have ever lived.
Yeah. And
I
then
doubt we're going to
probably
be
owe them a fucking life
finding-
debt.
And yeah, we're not going to be finding any of them around here. So,
If only retraining were a thing, I could set myself up for less of one and more of the other. But
let's hold out that hope that maybe one day we'll find someone who can help us. But in the meantime, we have a dear friend to mourn. Let's not lose sight of that. I don't know what her traditions would have been in this moment. She had the healthiest relationship with death out of all of us.
Do any of you know the name of her clan?
I'm sure it has been mentioned. Though memory, the player escapes that little note.
I'm double checking
we
to
know,
see if
like,
I
generally
know.
like what region it was from, to the north, across the river from, I think, where we were, way up north, that region.
Yeah, it's in her official name. She has said it outright, including when she introduced herself to Aste for the first time. Her full and total name on her character sheet ends with is Snap of Ice Snaps. of the Mourning Temple clan, and it is spelled Mourning.
Right.
Or
The
you just
Mourning
said the
Temple.
word morning, and it made me realize. Do you know what you said?
We can send word the old-fashioned way. Not sure how, but
Mother, check your messages.
I have a message. Do I have a message from you? I put it on the main screen on Roll20. Did I not? What map are y'all looking at? Town or the house?
We have town.
The
Or the
town.
house?
Town.
We have town.
Am I missing a message from anywhere else? Double checking to make sure.
Discord? Personal?
Sure. 9:52.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I meant there, literally, not. I wasn't looking at the Roll20 at the
Oh,
time
okay.
of sending that. Sorry, you can put it back to the house.
Okay. Put it back to the house. Sorry, it was easier to put it on the screen than to put it back to the house.
My bad.
Okay. So lots of conversation, dusk punching trees. You have to tell me how you would like to proceed. I did not write any of this for you guys.
Tonight we'll do a little service for her. Again, holding out hope for the best in the days, if not months to come, that we rectify this, if not avenge this. But I think we owe it to ourselves and to Dybrook to just let people pay their respects. She's a better friend than most of us, I think, would ever come across. And somewhere out there, she's there. She's doing her thing still from the other side. And she wouldn't want us to slow down, stop what we're doing, trying to make this land safer. If anything, this just hardens my own resolve to do that. And because while I know, looking at my, I know that it wasn't necessarily my fault, I still failed to protect her. I didn't kill her. I wasn't responsible for it. But I was computer. What the computer? Alexa just rails. But I did fail to protect her, despite my own set of skills. So go find some real strong wine. Pour some out for Snaps here. We'll worry about the damage to the homestead tomorrow.
Yeah, at some point, the boys and Samity would have come from the barn once they started hearing the women of Dracot bucket brigading and would have joined in whatever fire putting outness needed to be done. I imagine at the point you start this speech, Samity might come over to the group and be like, where's, what, where's, where's,
Samity would have probably seen based on time of this whole unfolding, she would have probably seen Maiev bolt past the barn.
I guess she would say, "Where's Maev going?" and "Where's where's?"
Dusk suddenly feeling like the stand-in for Snaps. I think that is really weighing on him is going to go over to Samity and kind of hold her hand and just say, "I'm sorry, Samity, but what just attacked us, they're strong, too strong for us." And Snaps, he just sort of takes a beat and just Snaps. Unfortunately, didn't make it through the battle.
But like you could fix it. You could fix her. Where you could fix her,
Yes.
right?
Well, I can't fix her. The magic that we need to fix her is extraordinarily powerful magic. But there is hope, Salmon. Never lose hope. But the odds of us fixing her in the near future are not going to be very high. I reached out to, unfortunately, one of the smartest people I know beyond the professor here. And if this person knew anybody on this continent that could save Snaps from this fate, he probably would have known. And he said it was beyond him. So unfortunately, we are going to have to say goodbye to Snaps for a while. Sorry.
Okay. I and she just kind of leans against the tree and says, um okay, can I would like to volunteer to help with preparations for the um
That would be grand.
burial.
That would be grand. I'm thinking some sort of service tonight, Sam. Something to.
Where is she so I can bathe her?
uh Well, that's the thing. The magic that took her from us was so powerful that all we have left is some dust.
Oh, that can't be right. That's not how that works.
I
That's not how
wish.
that works.
Well, if you want to wash the dust, I'm not going to stop you there, Samity. I don't think, and I don't think Snaps is going to care what happens to her dust. Whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better, there's plenty to do. If you'd like to help me figure out a
I'm gonna
nice,
go make bread, and she just blind blank face starts walking
just
toward the house and the front door to
Dusk
the
is like,
kitchen.
I'm really
She's
not
just
a grief counselor.
I'm gonna make bread.
I'm not quite as good at this comforting thing as Snaps was. Uh, Dusk will just lean against the house and just sigh. And he'd probably think, well, we need to. He's going to cast Sending again.
Oop. Yep, getting ready.
No, on second thought, he's not going to do that. He's gonna change his mind. He's about to cast it, and he's like, no, that seems kind of not the right thing. So he will tell the others that he's going to go to town and share the news if it hasn't already spread there already. figure we do it in person and explain tonight we'll have a service here at the homestead, and that the danger's gone for now. So if any of you want to come with me, stay here.
The boys are going to offer to stay with Samity. She seems to be pretty upset.
And Dusk will definitely like take a knee with the boys and be just like, this is not something I know you signed up for. This is not something I would have hoped you to be exposed to, even though we are adventurers of sorts, and this is something we sign up for, whether we like it or not. So keep yourselves busy, keep Samity busy, right? There's
Yeah.
something to do. We're going to be feeding a lot of mouths tonight.
Okay, we'll get some food on. We can make food.
Right. Cheers. And he'll turn around and just talk to the rest of his party that are still in earshot.
Literally. Aste and Ratha.
This is probably about the time that that Foggy would come back. I did just roll another check and I rolled a 15.
Okay.
And Dusk, seeing Foggy kind of emerge from wherever he's coming from, we'll just
Sorry,
kind of
18
wait till he gets a little. He'll wait till he gets a little closer, and then he'll just offer up a hug. If he wants it.
Yeah.
And he'll just kind of whisper, just, sorry, brother.
Do we have any artifacts, spells, scrolls, anything in this mansion that can get us in touch with another plane of existence or to go there? I know this might sound out of the blue, but I'm just weighing my thoughts and options.
Off the top of my head, no.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think so. That's
It's not the highest order of
I-
thought, but it's what came to mind.
yeah. In terms of what Dusk can do, even spell wise of his own spells, I don't. I have to jog down the
Yep.
list.
I seem to recall Little Bit eventually did earn the level up enough to be able to cast the contact other planes spell
Yeah,
without having to go to that room.
right.
But
That's
for a
further
long time,
along.
she had to go to that room in order to do it.
Yeah. The closest thing he's got is planar binding.
Well,
That's it.
sending can work across planes if you just want to talk to somebody, but there's a 5% chance it doesn't work if you do that.
Right. True. I can send if I know who I'm sending to, and it's not the same, but I have scrying. But in terms of talking to somebody, yeah, the closest I got is sending and commune. But that's with well, is it a deity? You contact a deity or divine proxy. So technically, I could use commune if it's a deity. I could commune with the veiled one if I wanted to. Like, hi. can can Snaps come back to play?
Literally just typing that.
I know she's in timeout, but come on. Oh, yeah. Ah. But yeah, Dust, giving Foggy Little Bear hugs. I'm sorry, brother. I couldn't stop her from whatever that spell was. I tried to protect her.
It's not on any of us. We're the ones that got ambushed.
Yeah, kind of felt like we could see it coming, but even then, still surprised us. Go figure. But I'm thinking tonight we'll hold a little service for her. We've already put our heads together, and I've reached out to Worthorl, and there's hope that we could one day undo this, but it's going to be somebody very powerful that does it.
Yeah, I
Very
gathered.
powerful magics indeed. So, safe to say, in the meantime, we're better off just mourning her. Really.
Yeah.
So, I was about to head to town and share the news in person. Maybe we'll start with Artelis and let the news travel. We'll host something akin to a service, funeral, wake, whatever. Celebrate her life, I think, is really the best thing we could do.
Yeah.
I'm not really a grief counselor person. That was her skill, mine, but I assure you, Foggy, we will bring to justice. Well, we'll make whoever did this pay.
Yeah.
Not the person who was literally responsible. You already took care of them.
Right.
But, you know, that fucking dragon's gonna die.
Yeah.
You
We
Whoever's
gotta
heard
riding.
take
that
that blurry.
dragon snap and crumple quite a lot as it was being carried away by the cloud.
It's not already dead, I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kill it
We
till
gotta
it's
take
dead.
that blurry guy's fucking head off.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no prisons in this continent that I'm aware of.
Even if there were, he doesn't deserve that kind of treatment. He's gonna
No
look
argument
around
for
a
me.
little.
I think for now I'm gonna try and clean up some of the chars and
A few of
restore
them.
the home a little. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
He's just sort of surveying the damage a little.
yep. At this point, yeah, Dusk will turn and start marching towards Dybrook.
Do you mind if I come with you?
No, I would prefer the company.
Thanks.
Naive
Someone
has
get his
run
fucking
off.
button. Someone get his body out of here. And then he keeps walking.
Yeah.
The women
He
of
snaps
Dracot
for
are
a minute
still
and then
in the
yeah.
area and immediately just like block your view and start cleaning up that mess.
So, yeah, we'll. Lady Ross, are you joining us or are you staying behind? All right.
I didn't hear the answer.
Stay
Still didn't hear.
Keeping.
home. Said I'm gonna stay home.
Okay.
Okay. So Mayav is pretty much AWOL.
Nope, Mayev is
Uh,
Ross's.
in
What's the
Ross's head,
distance?
but physically
Oh.
AWOL.
Yeah.
Yes, physically AWOL, but in Ross's head.
Aste gonna follow the men into town or stick around with Rasa?
I'm cleaning up the home a little bit.
Bit of mending going on there.
I actually don't have mending. I need to do all this manually.
Oh boy.
Uh,
Aste trying to wield a hammer and nails. Woohoo.
well, at least just trying to clean up some of the chars.
Cool.
Hmm. Yeah. Dusk will probably be quiet, but in his head. On the way to Dybrook.
And if you are headed to Artelis directly without stopping anywhere else, you will find yourselves there in about 40 minutes or so.
Yep, that's Dusk's plan, at least to go there first, since Artelis is sort of our core contact in Dybrook,
If not Kelly.
more or less.
Pretty much the first person
Yeah.
y'all got to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we spent more time, at least, in Artelis's care, if you will. But yes, there's Gilly, I think, who, well, Dusk doesn't have a lot of, I think, well, no, there's no history with us and Gilly. It's the players that do. But we can visit Gilly and Artelis, or and then we'll maybe we'll let them spread the word. And
Yeah, they probably know how to do
I
it
know
better than we would.
Yeah, maybe this is new to me. Even if it wasn't, I don't remember.
Right.
So I don't even know what kind of costumes my people would prefer to do. I can't even carry that tradition. I don't know hers, Snaps's, that is, in the morning temples, how they would handle this. So we'll just do the best we can. That's all that matters. It's thought and care behind.
You said it's going to take them 40 minutes to get to town. Probably about 10 minutes after the boys leave the homestead. Maiev comes wandering back up to the house from the barn side. And she's got, both arms just filled with flowers. There's definitely lilies and irises, and the closest thing that she could find to mountain laurels, and some sunflowers, and anything that looks even remotely rose-like. The general color scheme ends up being whites and grays and blues and purples. And she's the big beefy one, so her arms are her wingspan is a lot. So that's a lot of fucking flowers.
I would like the record to show that where's got me close. That broke me. Thanks, sis. Go fuck yourself. Oh. Oh. Can't see now.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know Sarah got COVID again.
I did. I got lucky enough to get on the antiviral, but I am dealing with some of the COVID rebound that comes when you come off of it. So, yeah, late nights have not been happening.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I have a question. Is there a pinch of this ash left on the ground?
I'm gonna switch to a headset so I don't have to worry about echoes and stuff.
I am sure that Aste could acquire a pinch of the dust.
Wonderful.
Maiev wouldn't have been able to pick it all up.
I figure I'm gonna try something esoteric and see if it does anything. That's all.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that Maiev was able to pick up all of the dust, but the receptacle that she put it in does not have a lid, most likely.
Gotcha.
So there's pinches to be had.
Wonderful. Then I will message the mama something that I'm gonna try to do. Just as a random, we'll call it a experiment then, just as a
An
chance.
arcane experiment or just an
Yes.
experiment?
Yes, I will message you.
Okay. Well, while we wait for that message, Dusk and Foggy will arrive at the Unicorn and Toad to find Artelis serving breakfast to some dude who's getting ready to go swing a hammer at the theater. And greet you cheerily. Good morning, good morning.
And the downcast face might telegraph a little bit to Artelis that something is not good morning, unfortunately. But
Well, just sit down here, young men. You just sit down here. What can I get you? Do you need some coffee? What are we doing? Why do you look so down in the mouth?
and Dusk will say, I don't think we're going to stay long, Arliss. It's just I needed to deliver this news in person. We have horrible news. I don't know if that commotion that just happened was something any of you noticed, but the homestead was attacked. Dragon and its allies, master, if you will, and defended ourselves well enough, but remember Snaps, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, Snaps didn't make it.
Okay. Okay. Well, we got things we can do. Let's see. Mrs. Scaros will be home within the next, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours. That's plenty of time. We'll get her over there. We'll get this. She's got all kinds of magic she can do. It's
I
going to be
hope she
fine.
got
It's going
something.
to
I
be
do.
fine, boys.
I
It's going to be
understand, but
fine.
I know. Well, it's going to be all right no matter what. Snaps wouldn't have it any other way. But I wanted to tell you in person because, well, assuming that Mrs. Scaros doesn't have something up her sleeve, and I'm holding up to the high heavens and whatever lays beyond, that she does. But in lieu of a solution, something to undo this fate of our dear friend, protector of this town, we're going to hold a service at the homestead for anyone who wants to give her a send off, pay the respects, say goodbye, or until next time, hopefully, however long that is. But I wanted to talk to you since I think you are one of the first people greeting us in this town. I first arrived. So I could use your help spreading the word for such a thing. And especially if Miss Scaros comes by way of through here, she'll need to know first. We'll go over to the Peasley and share that news with Gilly and likewise. But yeah, it's been a rough. I will take whatever strong stuff you got.
She is putting on the bravest of brave faces. Her eyes are shinier than ever before, but she is not outwardly weeping. She is genuinely being brave for you with the utmost confidence that Mrs. Scaros can fix anything. And she will offer you a shot of Jean's Baldilocks if you like, or maybe something just a little bit bracing that's not quite so risky.
I'd probably go all the way with the Baldilocks.
Cool. And does Foggy also need a shot of Baldilocks?
Typically he wouldn't, because as a rule, he doesn't drink anything too heavy too often. Fuck it.
Just
Dokie. What does Baldilocks do? I have this written down somewhere
Today's
recently.
awful, so... I gotta blow my nose again.
I gotta let a dog in. Be right back.
I'm sorry.
Ugh.
Okay, back.
I need a minute. I'm sorry. I'm looking up
no worries.
Baldilocks.
Oh, sorry. I meant to mute before I did that one again.
To God, I had Baldilocks at my fingertips just last weekend. Losentoft. Why the fuck do I still have a copy of Losentoft on the desk? The pig. D&D. Items and characters. A. How do I not have Baldilocks at my fingertips by now?
Maybe somewhere in the
Touche, but I
chat.
can't remember the numbers.
I mean, I even have a folder called miscellaneous items.
I say each bottle of Baldilocks bears a thick red wax seal. Each shot reduces intelligence score by 1. Requires
There you go.
DC 12. Here, I found it from February. Host
Pasty
you page.
paste.
That whole thing is a copy paste from what you posted.
Okay, I suppose I'll give you the con save now then.
Yeah. Save.
Where's my mouse? There it is.
Natural 20.
Dirty 20.
So 23 total.
Okay. Time to come out of the armory.
Hang on a sec. I gotta check something.
Got you. Not it.
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm coming out of the armory. Do a little more cleaning. I gotta wait till the others are back.
Okay, so has Foggy and Dusk both resolved their shot of Baldilocks? It looks like Maev's managed hers.
Yes, we both saved against
Okay.
the DC 12.
Cool. Sorry, I got distracted.
It's okay.
Aste comes out of the armory and approaches the kitchen where Maev is throwing back a shot. I don't know where Rasa is. Is Rasa in the
Ross is,
kitchen too?
I'd say Ross is probably keeping busy with Sam and Ian and all the other. Just
Okay, so she's dicking around in the kitchen but not
yeah,
drinking. Got it.
probably not.
So basically, Dusk and Foggy have informed Artelis, who has promised to spread the word on this side of town, and will let Cassell know as soon as she gets back from her break. And you have said you're going to go tell somebody at the Peasley. So
Yeah,
she'll assume that the people from the Peasley will notify the northern end of town that anyone who interested or needs to can congregate at the homestead this evening at sunset.
yeah, Homestead Sunset would work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. She's holding herself together quite well because she, like I said, has the utmost confidence that Mrs. Scaros can solve anything. He has no gauge for anything else other than every problem she's ever encountered. Mrs. Scaros either solved it or found the person who could. In her lifetime, that's her experience. So she's holding it together with that knowledge in her head. Whether it's
Okay.
accurate or correct is, something yet to be known. And Aste is coming out of the armory and headed into the kitchen while you guys are walking to the Peasley.
Yep.
Is he muted or is he thinking?
Al. I'm just trying to think. I need to wait till the others are back, so I'm just gonna keep cleaning like I said I would for now. Doing
Okay,
some undercover
cool.
stuff.
Cool. So then I guess unless Mayev has something else she's doing in the kitchen besides throwing back a Baldilocks, we can have them show up at the Peasley.
Yeah, the only other thing she's gonna be doing is taking a couple of each of the flowers because she got at least 6 of every flower that she could find in multiples of. So she's taking a couple of each of the flowers and just kind of laying them next to the so aptly named Bolo Dust on the mantle.
Okay.
I might as well share that with YouTube. Click through all the flowers that Maya have grabbed. Those last ones are asphodels. Okay, YouTube.
Okay. Asphodels are very pretty and cool. Okay. Arriving at the Peasley, you're going to find Bringwe behind the bar as always.
And look over at Foggy. You want to take this one? Did I break the news?
I'm not good at this either, man.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Hi. All right. Well, hello there. Hi. I don't suppose Gilly's around.
Oh, Gilly's always around.
Yeah.
Probably in the kitchen. I'll be out
All
soon.
right.
What can I do for you? You need a table? What are we doing?
No, not staying long. I just needed to deliver a bit of news. So, if it's okay, if I could go in and talk to them, or they can come out here. It's whichever. It's kind of important.
Okay, sure. And she snaps her fingers at somebody and says, "Get me Gilly, get me Gilly." And Gilly comes dancing and floating out of the kitchens at some point, and as always, brushes a finger across somebody's forearm and pats somebody on the shoulder, and just, everybody that they walk past or glide past gets some sort of affectionate touch as they move through the group and the crowd and approach you. Why aren't you sitting here? There's a table right here. Come on, gents, have a seat.
Foggy
Oh,
is probably going to break down at this exact moment and just pull Gilly into a hug.
Oh, well, my goodness, my fine elven friend. What is all of this about now?
And
Just,
he's
oh my
just
goodness.
shaking.
he.
Okay, sure. This way. And Gilly will just sort of usher you out the door so that you're standing outside in at least slightly more private space, um, and just sort of wrapped around you as comfortingly as possible and
Uh,
looking at Dusk like, what the fuck, man?
uh, well, yeah. This morning we were attacked. The homestead was attacked. The dragon that destroyed the southern theater. Uh, well, got wind, I guess, that we were back home, and they assaulted us. The dragon, its master, other thugs, whoever. But in the process of defending ourselves, Snaps was hit by a very powerful spell. So much that she's gone. Not even
Um,
a trace of some dust. Just some dust.
and the look on Gilly's face goes from uh, eyebrows up and then looking upward like, I'm thinking about this. I could do something about that. Give me a minute. I don't like to tell people I can do something about this. And then you say dust.
And
And their eyes come back and meet yours. Dust?
dust. It was a powerful
Can't
spell.
work with dusk, man. I can't work with dust.
I don't expect you to. We're not here for solutions. We're just trying to spread the word because we've already put our heads together between the professor and me reaching out to Worth Earl himself, and if the smartest people in this continent don't know the right people to help Snaps, then we're just going to treat her life with the dignity it deserves and honor her life. We'll have a service up at the homestead at sunset tonight, and could sure use your support. And if you spread the word on this side of town, and if anyone wants to pay their respects or share a story or say some kind words, I think it just begins the healing process for us all, really.
And during this entire exchange, Foggy, the grip on you has not slackened even a little bit. If you try to pull back enough to look in Gilly's face, Gilly is not allowing it and has a very, very firm grasp around your shoulders. Dusk, you see Gilly reach with their arms wrapped around Foggy. The left hand reaches up between his shoulder blades to the wrist of the right arm and fiddles with a piece of jewelry on that wrist, catches it in the left hand, and then they relax and let Foggy back up, and their arms go from your back across the back of your shoulders, down your arms to your hands, and something is deposited in your hands. And Gilly says, I thought she just lost it. I'm sorry. I'll be there tonight. I'm sorry. And they pat your hands with whatever that is tucked in between your hands. And the tear breaks the surface and Gilly begins to cry.
Dusk will offer a big bear hug.
I look down. What's in my hands?
A bracelet.
He just squeezes it and keeps crying. Ugh.
I just thought she lost it.
I don't understand.
My longings have a bit of find me in them. And if they're lost, they come back to me. And when it appeared on my wrist when I awoke this morning, I assumed that the clasp had broken and she had lost it, and it returned to me as is supposed to. I didn't realize.
I see.
I didn't. I would have come if I had known. I didn't
Oh,
realize. I truly
get,
just thought.
get it. No, don't. You are somebody who strikes me healer in their own way. Comforter. Hospitality is your bread butter. Am I wrong?
I have a past and I have a history that I tend to keep to myself. Yes.
Okay. Well, there's nothing.
Like I said, I can't work with dust.
No, I understand.
I can do a lot. I can do a lot.
I believe you.
But that's not.
I believe you. I know you do everything in your power to help. You're a person who seems extraordinarily selfless, even. And at this point, I think we're just the only thing we could do is heal.
Did you just tell Gilly they were selfless?
Yes.
Gilly's tears redoubled. They're shaking their head. They are not allowing you to ascribe that term to them.
But from where I'm standing, from what I've seen, however little that may be, you're more concerned about those around you than you are of yourself. It's selfless in my book. So, either way.
I gotta go. And crying, turns, heads back in, shaking their head. The term selfless is they simply can't allow you to use that term.
All right. Thank you, Gilly.
I'm sorry, everybody. You had to talk to Gilly, didn't you? Didn't you have to talk to Gilly? You could have avoided talking to Gilly. You could have sent the boys to talk to Gilly. I'm just saying.
And me having no idea what I just stepped into.
Admittedly, I feel bad about it, but I'm fine. So
Okay, good.
Anyway,
Oh, I got a headache now.
Sorry.
I'm saying, I'm just speaking from the heart.
y'all are a bunch of teddy
Apparently,
bears, and I love you.
you know, I'm just trying to speak what I feel, and it always just ends up alienating people around me.
At somewhere during the exchange, Gilly will promise to let Bring We Know, and that the word will be
Sure,
spread, and the invitation will occur, and all of that shit happens.
right.
You fully anticipate that the whole town will know by nightfall that there's going to be something going on at the homestead at sunset.
Right. Well, let's go, brother. Let's go back. Let's go back and see the others. And,
I think I need to lay down.
well, I can carry you back if you want.
I
You
can
can
make it
lay
back to
down.
the homestead, but I'll lay down when I get home.
Yes, yes. You gotta do what you gotta do, brother. I'm not experienced in this. Maybe a cleric, but this is new to me. So I'm not quite as good at figuring out what people in these moments, but
I'm right
think,
there with you, man. I come from a clan of mostly elves. We have like one funeral every couple dozen years.
boy, that must be nice in its own way.
Yeah.
I suppose. I don't even know. I really not liking the fact that I can't even remember how we would handle our dead back home. I have nothing, no point of reference, no traditions. So I'm just filled with emotions and nowhere to put it.
Mm-hmm.
No salve of tradition, of ritual.
Sorry, Will, I just rolled a 1 and a 5 to determine whether or not you have any flashes of memory. Oh, nope.
Nope. He's in
Nope.
the dark.
Sorry. I
It's okay.
tried.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
But I will tell you, you're cleric of the moon, and every fiber of your being is telling you that the appropriate thing to be done has to be done under the moon.
Right, which is sort of why his instinct is to do it kind of at night,
Yeah.
because it's we're shepherding across a threshold.
Yeah.
The day,
It just
the
didn't make
twilight.
sense to you to do it any other way.
Right, the twilight is a boundary. It serves as a line between things that are opposite, and if there's anything that's opposite to life, it's death. Any ritual that we do, any honoring of our life, makes sense to do at that boundary that we see every day. And
So the boys get home. You find Maiev is decorating the place with flowers. Rasa is sort of shepherding the kids around in the kitchen, trying to maintain some sense of order and keep them from falling apart. Aste is apparently in a tree.
Dusk, thinking we're gonna need more fuel for a fire, it's gonna find wherever we can chop wood. Dusk is gonna go find the area with that wood can be chopped. He'll take off his plate armor and kind of just needs to do something with his hands. Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking that scene from that movie. Literally working out his emotions and thoughts through physical labor. Maybe not doing it that way though. Although you probably could. But he's just gonna start chopping wood to start building a, even if it's a sort of for show, a funeral pyre of sorts. Even if it's not necessarily
get
going to
used.
serve its literal purpose.
And does Foggy try to go inside of the homestead as he goes by?
Yes.
Wonderful. You get poked on the back of the shoulder with a mage hand as you are entering. Like
I'll whip
someone
around and
poking you. Yep. And you see the professor, like, hands behind his back, walking this way. Your choice. What to do?
he'll follow you.
Wonderful. We're gonna get, like, away from the manor just a little bit, like over here or something. And he'll stop, and he'll turn, and he'll say, beginnings and ends. Do you believe in them?
Yeah.
How solidly do you believe in them? Do you believe in hope more? Are you willing to set aside your ground in reality thought processes for a chance?
Yeah.
And he's going to take out his silver scaled cord, and it's going to look like your head. And he's going to hand it to you, and he's going to say, I don't entirely know what to do with this, but it's your part of the puzzle now. Good luck. Apparently, it wants you. So I say,
All right,
whatever.
Andrew, in your
Oh,
head, when you spread out the chain, it
mm-hmm.
becomes solid in that
Mm-hmm.
shape? Okay. So, and I imagine what happens when you manipulate your chain is you spread it out on a surface until it becomes a
Oh,
symmetrical shape.
okay.
So it would
So it's like
lose that shape
flat.
when you pick it up again.
So it's
Yeah. So when
flat.
you yeah.
Okay.
So when you go to pick it up, the shape would be gone.
Oh. Oh, goodness. So it went from like a ball to a flat shape.
Yeah. Every time you mess with it, you
Okay.
mess with it as a ball and then you lay it out flat
Mm-hmm.
and you fiddle with it until it becomes symmetrical.
Okay. So I guess I can show him that then. Will it do that same shape?
I will allow it on this occasion, yes.
Okay. So I'll like lay it on the ground. It's shows him that,
It looks
and
like my
he'll be
face.
like, yeah, and it looks like your head, right? It looks like his head specifically, like the ears and everything.
Yeah, it looks like a head with pointy ears like his.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's never done this before. And that leads me to think that you're an important part of whatever it wants. So either you can take it for now and just try manipulating it, or try some other esoteric idea you might have. But I'm gonna leave it in your care for now. Does that sound fair?
And you're gonna watch the face journey of a man who's struggling with words in general right now. And he's gonna settle on, I do need something to do with my hands that isn't just find wherever y'all put that dead body and continuing to pummel it. So
Splendid.
thanks.
Then
And he'll pick it up and start fidgeting with it a little bit while he walks back to the homestead.
I hope something comes of it.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that in order to get that shape to reappear, you sprinkled a pinch of the dust on it so
Gotcha.
that Foggy could see that you did something
Yeah,
before spreading it out.
that makes sense.
There's got to be some understanding between the two of you that the reason this is looking like this has something to do with this dust.
Gotcha.
Okay. Thank you again.
Mhm.
I don't know why I'm doing it like that. Yerp.
Zoop, zoop, zoop. In the house.
Is that where Maev is standing?
All right. What you doing, Maev?
I think you offhandedly mentioned that you were decorating the place with flowers, which I would have noticed on the way in and probably started crying again.
So it's more the majority of the flowers are probably on a table in the main room, with the exception of the ones that she put next to the makeshift urn. And she is currently sitting on the floor with her back to the wall outside of Favi's room, waiting for him to come back.
Okay. And he's holding a gently rolled together ball of silver cord in his offhand, but he's mostly going to his room.
When you round the corner, she's gonna, like, she was kind of 1,000-yard stare, but at the same time, it's like hyper focused, like she's trying to bore a hole into the wall in front of her. And when you round the corner, that's what you see, and you can tell she's been crying, and she's covered in dirt from collecting flowers, and she doesn't give a fuck. And she'll jump up when you come around the corner and just kind of like throw her arm in front of the door and go, I put her stuff. I don't know if I did it right, and I didn't want it to surprise you.
He's just gonna
You
open his
didn't
hands for a
want
hug.
it to surprise him.
Yeah. He's just gonna throw his arms open and offer a hug.
She's gonna hug you tighter than Gilly did. Good luck
Oh,
breathing.
I'm sure.
Breathing becomes difficult.
What did Mom say?
Breathing becomes difficult.
Yes. Breathing becomes incredibly difficult. So the smaller trinkets would be splayed out between the now 2 tables that you have in your room.
Mm-hmm.
And her shield and spear are just kind of leaned against the tables. Or, not spear, staff. It's staff.
She does have a spear these days.
The walking stick thingy was a spear.
Yeah.
She started out with a walking stick, but she got a spear at the lighthouse.
Gotcha. So those are in front of, leaned up against the tables, and yeah, good luck breathing. You're gonna have to like gasp in her ear that you can't breathe in order to get her to let you out of the hug.
Which he would probably wait a good 40 seconds before even considering trying to say, okay, idiot, you're running out of oxygen.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And then
And
give you a
she'll-
quick
she'll-
double tap and simply say, I need to lie down.
Do what?
I need to lie down.
Okay. And she'll let you into the room and make sure that you make it. She'll stay outside of your room, but full blown mom mode, making sure you make it into bed. And she'll probably mage hand the covers up over you.
Yeah, he'll probably pass out pretty hard, even though it's only midday. Maybe early evening. Boink. Well, actually, that looks better.
Unless anybody has anything else they need to accomplish between now and sunset.
Just a couple more mental breaks.
Would John and Mrs. Scaros show up at
Oh,
some point?
Jean and Mrs. Scaros would eventually they would eventually find their way to your door. Probably just shy of sunset. They will have gotten back midday and gotten the news from Artelis upon their arrival. Rather than rushing to your door, would have stayed with Artelis and helped to ensure that any preparations that need to be done at the Unicorn and Toad for this evening's activity, they would help with that so that additional catering would be delivered. So they're going to arrive right before sunset with the wagon that usually takes them back to the Homestead of Joy, loaded down with all the food and tables and chairs and things that they could muster from the Unicorn and Toad, followed by a wagon pulled by horses from the Peasley, also loaded down with tables and chairs and food of every kind you can imagine. And there's just a line of townspeople following behind as an enormous number of people from town are filtering their way into the orchard, and they just start setting up tables and chairs and building small fires to warm food and just sort of set out essentially a funeral feast. If dusk is still has brought firewood toward the house, several people from town, many of the builders from that are rebuilding the theater might have volunteered to come and help to build a bonfire or whatever needs to be built, any structure that needed to be assembled. They would volunteer their assistance in that way. Gilly is on the cart with the stuff from the Peasley. Lots of faces you recognize. Both Audreys are in the collection of people who are coming and milling about in the orchard, preparing for whatever is about to happen. I need to ask if any of the players have planned ahead or wish to improvise any kind of speech or I don't want to put anybody on the spot or some sort of funeral event. So if you have prepared or you want to have something to say in front of the townsfolk that have gathered en masse, you may do that at this time. If you didn't and you don't wish to, it is completely uh, up to you.
I could probably rattle something off here. I have a few. I was thinking about this a little bit, considering like Dusk feels sort of responsible for the emotional health of this party now. whether it's fair or not. But he would definitely feeling like the religious, faithful, whatever you want to call it, side of the party. The home of that role is now his. So he would probably open up, and he'll use thaumaturgy to make his voice carry if it's needed. He would say, let's see, eulogizing. I've never had to deliver eulogy before, thankfully. So let's see what I can do. He would say, good evening, everybody. Good evening. I thank you all for gathering here at short notice for something I rather hope never happened, or ever thought would happen. But we're all here, gathered in sorrow and what I hope is deep gratitude to honor the memory of our cherished comrade, a dear friend, the valiant Snaps of Ice of the Morning Temple clan up north. Her life was a beacon of compassion, duty, and courage in the heart of battle, protecting our homestead in Dybrook. She was the line between life and death. And she stood that line every day, always took guarding that line seriously. And she protected those of us here at the homestead. Not just us, the eyes, but the Samity and the others. Unfortunately, she paid the ultimate price. But as a cleric of the grave, she understood that delicate balance between life. Offered every day solace to those we've come across on our journeys who had met that final end of their journey or were near it, those that were near and dear to them, helping those that fell find peace. And her wisdom and unwavering resolve brought light to the darkest hours of many people. And every time I heard her pray, in her own way, over somebody wounded, and every time she healed somebody with her touch, she was reminding us that even death, there's dignity and purpose. And that's why I thought I'd talk to you all today about her. Defending Dybrook from the moment we set foot in Dybrook. So it seems like a long time ago, but it really wasn't. But she embodied everything about sacrifice that we clerics, but those of us who try to protect others, ideals that I've always tried to live up to. She chose to face that danger, knowing that the safety of this place, safety of Dybrook, and the hope that all of you live a better life, protected from the things that try to destroy it. I think we all felt terrible the day that the dragon came to Dybrook. We weren't here to help you defend it. And I'm sorry that our presence has brought it back to our doorstep. But Snaps, who bore the scars of battle long ago, would never run, So neither will we. She bore the same scars on her body, but also she bore that mark on a soul who knew that true strength lies in the service of others. And so, Dybrook, everybody here gathered, we bid farewell to Snaps of Ice. Let's remember her for the kindness in her eyes, the calm assuredness in her voice, and her always unwavering commitment to protecting life in all of its forms. She's not here to heal the wounds of our the hearts are hearts right now. So it's up to us, all of us, to help each other. These types of wounds heal slowly. And so don't be afraid to lean on each other. Lean on us. And there'll be days where we lean on you. There'll be another day for justice, for vengeance, but that's not today. Today, we celebrate that brave soul, Snaps of Ice. Farewell, dear friend. Your gentle glow is like a little candle. And even though you're not here, we're going to try and keep that flame alive. And may that light guide us through dark days ahead. And may it honor your memory by living with the same dedication and compassion that you showed to all of us. May that journey to the gray, to the veiled one, be peaceful and as noble as the life that you lived here on this place. Blessings of Saluna on all of you.
Mrs. Scaros would wait to make sure no one else had anything to say immediately, and stand from her place at whatever table she and Jean had sat at. And I might not be as good at improv, so I'm just going to speak. She will thank Dusk for his lovely words and spend a moment reminding everyone that although Snaps is not here with us now, she is with the Veiled One now. In this moment, she is with the Veiled One and will be for 10 days. And it is our job as those left behind to mourn her properly in this time. It is expected that we will grieve. And we will grieve. Our thoughts, our prayers, our memories, our sadness, they all help Snaps find her way through the gray. Those 10 days immediately following a passing are lost without those left behind remembering. So please, in the days to come, take a moment every day to send your love and sadness to Snaps in the gray. Help her find her path. And that's all she's going to say, because that's all I can put together without falling out. I will say that Burris is having trouble putting voice to her thoughts. And so I'm just going to read her chat message so that it's on the recording. Maiev would have remarked on the light Snaps brought with her everywhere she went, that the fault for this death lies only with that blurry bitch, and remind everyone the wrong will be righted even if Maiev has to talk to Snap's veiled one herself. Which, when Maiev says that, we'll get an eyeball from Jean. Just to be clear, Jean isn't going to allow that to happen. If she has to sit on you, she will. But you will not be visiting the Veiled One yourself. Are there any other players?
Burris would say to that, "Don't threaten me with a good time," but she's still crying.
She's still crying. Okay. Don't threaten you with a good time. You got it. Does anybody else have anything they would like to add before the fire is lit? So we'll let Dusk light the pyre,
Yeah.
which is essentially unoccupied except for maybe a few of the flowers that Maiev collected.
Yeah, it makes in lieu of a body
Yeah.
assortment of essentially offerings, for lack of a better description. Flowers, Dusk would
Flowers
lay
and
a
plants and maybe some food.
yeah. Dusk doesn't really know if there's a symbol of the Veiled One, but he would carve something into the back of one of his trinkets. Um,
I
similar
think
to
he
the
had an amulet. Yeah, Snaps wore an amulet that had a carving of the censer. It was her
right,
spiritual weapon, so
right.
you could carve the censer.
I carve a little quick little thing in there, and then similar to what he sent his mother along with the Countess. Just a little note that just says the moon remembers, and we'll place it on the pyre along with flowers and anything else. And he'll light the torch and look up at the sky and set it ablaze and step back.
The smoke from the pyre will billow into the sky, and the clear black sky, which has gone black during all of this speech telling. The stars are very bright. The moon is very full. Um, and as the smoke billows up from the pyre, clouds, gray and glowing in the sky, develop just above where the smoke is headed upward. And you can imagine that the smoke will eventually make contact with those clouds and assume that the veiled one is receiving whatever blessings and offerings were laid on this pyre. And uh, lots of food, lots of storytelling, I remember this one time she went ass over tea kettle, tripped on something and didn't catch herself with her tail and stumbled in the street, or just little quips and stories of memories, and people trying to be light and celebrate a life rather than 100% focus on mourning a passing.
Yeah, Dusk would be 100% because we haven't really shared what we were up to, like in this whole little ring around Euskataria's little quadrant down here. And so Dusk would be retelling all of the battles, all of the, especially the ordeal that where we found Samity, that led us to Samity, I should say. Just yeah, kind of sharing all the things that Snaps did, and
Regaling stories of her bravery and selflessness.
yeah, she totally owned this tour. I'm sure that guy's having a bad time wherever he is. But yeah, sharing stories
Yeah.
of the adventures, which is serves two purposes. It tells people what we're up to, but also what Snaps was,
Like.
backing up all the words that he just said with the story.
Yeah. If Foggy says anything, because he's been struggling with words this whole time, it's probably going to be something along the lines of, I don't know how to do this because my family are all elves. We have a couple funerals every decade. That's it. I've probably only been to 3 in my life, so I don't know what I'm doing. Um, and then just pull out his lyre. And I'm going to drop a link in chat. None of you have to listen to it right now, but if any of you have played Bastion, you've probably heard this song. Oh, are you not going to properly embed? Are you not going to properly embed? You're not going to properly embed. Of course you're not. Hold on. I'll put the link to this in the description of the eventual upload. There it is. Yeah, you don't have to listen to it now. I had at one point intended to get my kalimba in tune and literally just do it, but I don't have the tools to tune a kalimba apparently, so I need to buy a kalimba tuning hammer and fix that.
Great soundtrack.
Glad I'm not the
I'll
only
listen
person
to
here
that
who's played
later.
that game.
I have, yes, once many moons ago.
Yeah. One of my top 5 games of all time.
I would put it up there, definitely top 10. And the soundtrack is probably the top 10 for easy. But
I will, real quick for YouTube's benefit, I will, at the very least, flash that onto the screen real quick. And again, the link to that's in the description. Blink.
Making sure that everyone grasped Mrs. Scaro's content of this was explaining, especially for Andrew, who may not be familiar with the lore of how death works on my world. But essentially, when one passes, their spirit is transported to the gray, where they spend the 10 days that some spells make them accessible to be fixed. Whatever, there are certain spells that you have to do something within 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the gray is. That 10 days is the minimum that one spends in the gray. And during that time, when those who mourn for you, those energies of their mourning help guide you to travel through the gray and follow a path to relive some memories from your lifetime and help you adjust to the change that you're experiencing and uh, give you some solace and company while you wait for whatever deity chooses to collect you from the gray. And depending on the kind of life you lived, you might be collected on day 10, or you might be collected on, 1,000 days later, or no deity might ever come and collect you, and you might be lost in the gray longer than anyone will mourn for you, and you would literally be lost in the gray and just become a part of the gray. So
Scary.
that's how death works. So the assumption is from Mrs. Scaros that she was immediately transported to the gray, her consciousness, and she is, as long as we are mourning her properly, following the threads of our energy to relive certain memories and components of her life. In her case, being a cleric of the Veiled One, she might have a more direct interaction with the Veiled One during this time. Normally, you're on your own, wandering in the gray, and she just keeps an eye on you to make sure that you're not suffering too greatly. And if you are, or you're getting lost, she might request assistance from one of her clerics in the world to help your family, help you make it through the gray better. But on the whole, she's pretty hands-offish. So there we go. That's what we know about the gray.
Very nice.
We have lit a fire. We have eaten some food. We've told some stories. Unless anyone has anything else they would like to have happen, we could go to bed. We've cried a lot. So people will begin to filter out and head back home. For some of you, sleep is a blessed oblivion. And for others, sleep might be punctuated with flashes of horror and denial, rest crumbs, but not without a struggle.
In the last hours of your shared rest, you all begin to feel a strange sensation in your belly, just below your navel. It's that familiar sensation of weightlessness that you feel when falling. Even you, Aste, find that the grasp you have on your trance dissolves like spun sugar in water. All of you find that your vision begins to focus, and you find yourself looking down on your body, sleeping restlessly below you. In a way that is disconcertingly familiar to most of you, you begin to float up to the ceiling, and then somehow through the ceiling and the rafters above. You are looking down at the roof of the Wanderer's homestead, and as you continue to rise into the night sky, you see the whole town of Dybrook below you. That feeling in your gut never turns unpleasant like you expect it to as you watch the town fall away behind you. You are being pulled firmly, but not violently like before. The silver thread of the river curls below you in the light of the moon. Roads you have walked several times before curve away from you in the dark of the night. The homestead of Joy flashes past as you are carried to and then over the Calamite Mountains. There is a vague impression of the town of Dracot as you fly past and over the Valley of the Sands. Rasa, with your passive perception, you spot tiny pinpoints of light in the desert below. As they whisk past like shooting stars, you realize they are the light of scattered elementals among the dunes. They fall away as you all begin to climb higher into the sky, flying ever forward to the northeast. Above all of you, in the clear night, you are blanketed in a dome of innumerable stars. To Aste, perhaps it feels a bit like home. The Pharmaspar forest is cast in the soft, silvery light of the moon above. She is full, hanging above like a guiding lantern in the night. To some of you, the gentle presence of the Moon Maiden is familiar. She is with you, like the whisper of cool silk on your skin. There are no words, but she who guides illuminates the path ahead for you. Even you, Rasa, can clearly see what comes next. Ahead of you looms the dark silhouette of the Huntingsbane Mountains. As you approach, you see jagged peaks reach toward the skies like claws. The warm summer breezes of the continent fall away, and you feel the sting of ever-cold mountain air on your cheeks. But there is something else. On the icy wind is the faint sense of incense. As the barely there sensation begins to register, you also hear the distant sound of voices, but it's too scattered by the wind to make out any words. Below you passes a familiar peak. Deep within the roots of the mountain, you know there is a chamber once filled with screams and memory, now silent behind a tumble of blasted stone. With relief, you see that mountain fall away behind you.
Stone and snow and ice-cold streams and patches of scraggly forest caught in the valleys between fly away beneath you, too fast now to read any detail. The scent and sound are louder now. The voices are snatches of song echoing through stone halls, punctuated by whispered prayer and patches of hushed conversation. There is no sickening jolt as the blur of movement slows around you, just a clarity of vision. Below you and fast approaching, you see the crescent shape of a dark stone temple carved into the eastern face of a massive mountain. Before you can register details, you are through the front door and in the warmth of hushed stone halls. Somewhere beyond your sight, you hear a few voices joined in the soft songs of the dark, early hours of prayer, too faint to make out any words. Maiev, you are the first to see him, although you all notice him. But Maiev, as a mother, you have more than a little practice spotting children trying to be sneaky. In the flickering torch shadows along the wall creeps a young, hooded tabaxi. The pattern of spots on his ears and tail are painfully familiar as he sneaks toward the large double doors at the far end of the room. Just before you are all pulled through the doors, your eyes meet his, and you see a spark of surprise in his yellow eyes before you are pulled away. You all find yourselves in the main chapel of the Morning Temple. There are 2 rows of pews with a center aisle, and at the far end of the chamber is a statue of the Veiled One herself. She is carved in the likeness of a tall, black tabaxi covered in a veil from head to toe. One clawed hand is extended, holding a smoldering censer like a lantern. From here, you can barely hear those distant prayers. Any wisps of conversation you heard over the mountains are long gone now, but you are not alone in the silence. There are 5 strangers in the room with you. Pacing the center aisle, you see a stocky male tabaxi. His fur was once a vibrant orange, but silver has begun to touch his face and hair. His hands clench and unclench anxiously. In the left front pew, you see a rotund, elderly tabaxi with cream-colored fur that is thinning on his head and droopy ears. In one hand, he is clasping a small glass bottle like a precious lifeline, and with the other, he is comforting a middle-aged tiefling man with red skin. The tiefling's face is buried in his hands and his shoulders shudder, but you hear no sound. To the right, you see a dark, panther-like tabaxi woman in armor, her back ramrod straight. Arms crossed, she watches the final occupant of the room with keen eyes. Before the statue of the Veiled One kneels a tabaxi woman with silvery white fur. She wears a full-body gray veil that obscures the finer details of her face, but you can make out a long, thick braid hanging down her back. By her hands, you can tell that she is older than most in the room, but her practiced movements are sure and smooth. In front of her is a smaller incense burner and a few ritual tools. As you finally come to a stop here in the temple, you hear a voice begin to speak. No, not a single voice. 2 voices is one. The goddess intones through her priestess, and the room around you trembles. Warp of magic and weft of fate. A beloved thread of the weave is broken, its fiber gone, but its essence not utterly lost. A new thread can be woven to repair the fabric from this temple's loom. Go forth with my consent and blessing. Find the fire-crowned earth singer. Bring their hidden talents to this hall before the passing of a 10-day, else the last ray of the sun on the last day will bind my beloved to her final destiny in my realms forever. As the last word reverberates down into your very bones, you hear a rushing sound as though from a strong wind. You feel yourselves beginning to rise again. The priestess spins to face you, her eyes piercing through the quickly fading haze of the dream. She sees you. She speaks again, and this time with just her own voice. You have less than 10 days. The waking world presses in around you, a rushing sensation like a bubble rising to the surface of the water. You begin to feel the sheets wrapped around your legs, rushing. The cold pre-dawn light teases your eyes as one last word breaks from the dream. Hurry! You wake up.
Oof.
If we all bolt awake after that, everybody hears Maiev screaming something along the lines of, I need to stay here. We have to fix it. How do I fix it? And I am going to ask the intermediary DM to please spell that NPC's name.
Same.
I don't think you know her name.
We heard the name, but I, Burris, am deaf. And words are hard.
I think that Snaps has referred to her as Silver, or Priestess, High Priestess Silver.
Oh, no, sorry. The name that of the NPC they were told to find.
Oh. Let me just pop it in the chat here, because as you find, you will find it very easy to recall the dream. It's kind of been burned into your mind by a goddess.
Oh yeah, it would have been burned in there by force if I had to.
Ah. Firecrown Earthsinger.
Crap. Sing.
But do we want to end here and pick up when Rasa can participate next
I
time?
feel as though that would be only fair and
Yeah.
also emotional damage
Yeah,
limit
I need a
reached.
break.
That was a pretty powerful speech, though. I have to admit, that was
Yeah.
really good.
Oof, yeah. That's
Yeah. Holy shit, y'all. Ow.
Hey, let's play this game where we get to pretend to be other people.
Hey guys, we get to be
Why am I so
silly little.
upset?
We get to be silly little people going around and killing
Yeah.
slimes and stuff, guys.
We get to roll rocks that have numbers on them.
You
It's
get to
fun.
be a funny little werewolf elf boy. It'll be cool.
It's a
Look
great
at,
time.
look at me, this jovial Irish accented meathead of a cleric. Oh, it's gonna be fun.
And now I have a
I'm just
migraine.
gonna
Fuck
accidentally
every single
merge
one of
Grog
you.
and not the brave. Oh. It definitely it dawned on me a little probably a few months into us playing this campaign that I had inadvertently merged Grog and Not the Brave to create Maiev. It was
Well,
not
you
my
know.
intention.
I
Pretty
literally
great.
wrote the Hulk without realizing it, so it's fine. Well, if the Hulk was
Until
extra
I
steps,
messed it
but
up
you know what I
and
mean.
invented Kurok.
Yeah. I suppose that's where we'll
Yeah.
end the
I
recording,
think,
huh? Yeah. Finish that thought.
yep. No, I think I wrote a reverse Persephone, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Alright. I suppose that's where I'll start the recording. Good night, YouTube.
Good night,
Night,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Good
YouTube.
night, YouTube. Sleep tight. Don't let the
Jesus.
things that go
You're
bump
going to
in the night.
want to upload that pretty quick because I'm pretty sure Sarah is going to be pissed that she
Yeah,
Oh,
missed
I'm
yeah.
sure.
that.
Yeah.
It should be all right.
Yeah.
She just
It'll
needs
get
to watch like
uploaded
the last
tomorrow
10 minutes.
afternoon.
Once you get to
Stomach
the
cracker. I didn't think y'all would do a funeral on day one. Messed me up, man.
Sorry.
it felt only right. I'm thinking to myself this
Yeah.
whole time, like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Like, because I still feel like we're kind of this is the collaborative storytelling of like we're driving what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like,
Alright.
well, it only makes sense to if we can't fix it, we have to do something to pretend like, hey, this is what happens. This is the normal ritual. You know, even if it's not the outcome we wanted, if it's not, even if we have every intent of finding a way to undo this. It's like, but we don't know what's going to happen. So honor the emotions of not having someone that's not there. It's like, man, yeah, it's like the kind of how you guys handle with Little Bit, right? It's like you guys had a whole thing that
Shit fit.
well, that there was the
They were
shit fit.
very mad at me. They were very, very mad at me.
Yeah, but I guess it's one thing. There's a little bit of a difference in a little bit chose to sacrifice herself. Snaps did not intend on being vaporized into dust, but
It's
He
what happened.
definitely got targeted.
so it feels a little raw, like oh no.
Yeah.
But no, it felt right. It felt good.
Yeah, I'm stopping
I've
the
never.
recording. Good night, YouTube.
Good night, YouTube.
Good night, you
Again.
again. But